What's up, YouTubers? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about getting into the big world of hobby grade RCs. For people just getting started, it can be a little overwhelming and there's a lot to learn. Today I'm going to go through 10 things to know when getting into this hobby. For those of you that have watched my channel for a while, likely know that I mostly run 8 scale off-road RC cars. But there's a wide variety of other options. There's remote control boats, trucks, cars, planes, you name it. You can also get very small scale all the way to very large. So I'm going to speak from what I know about, which is mostly off-road RC cars, but you can really apply a lot of this to most types of vehicles. Many people think that these are toys when they really don't know much about them, but these are beyond toys. We're talking hobby grade RCs that can get quite expensive and are very fast. So let's get into it. First off is learning to drive. This is something that may seem easy. Maybe when you were a kid and you had your own RC car, you could drive it around fairly easy. But when you're talking about hobby grade, where they're a lot faster, this requires a lot more skill. So give yourself time, be patient. It's going to take practice, whether it's driving on the street, driving off-road, or especially jumping. If you haven't checked out my recent tutorial of how to jump, check that out. It's got lots of tips and tricks on how to control your truck in the air, how to land smoothly, and just how not to brake. Alright, so a quick brake in the air and just let it coast down. But overall, this is a skill that requires a lot of patience, so give yourself that. So related to learning to drive is knowing that you're going to brake. Crashes are common in this hobby, as you can see here.
Oh, ouch. Oof. Well. Oof. Oh.
People often underestimate the speed that these cars have, and so they don't realize that when you're going this fast with such a small vehicle, you're bound to brake.
Oh my god, dude, look at this thing. In the air well yet, so that was why that happened. Oh my god. Oh, this will take a while to fix.
Despite the sturdy build quality of many of these brand name bashers, they're just not capable of handling these crashes. So because the trucks break quite frequently, you're going to get skilled at learning to fix them quicker than you think. That leads to number 3, learning to work on them. It can be a little daunting to look at the truck when you first get it and figure out how are you going to repair this thing. But after you've broken many parts, you'll start to learn quite quickly of how to fix them.
Okay, now you can see it's seated correctly.
Try not to be afraid of getting in there and opening up things, taking them apart. Just keep track of where the parts are, the screws. You may even use tricks like using your phone to take pictures or videos so you know how to put it back together. If you forget to do that or you get stuck, trust me, there's plenty of YouTube videos on the subject, including many of mine. As you're fixing, remember to check your diffs. These can be fine out of the box in most cases. Sometimes they do come out of the factory with low diff fluid, so if you check them, you can be ahead of the game by filling it up. Eventually you will bust one of your diffs, and in that case you're going to learn more about how to fix it. It can be daunting at first, but again, like everything, don't worry, you'll get better at it. Check out this video series where I go through the diffs on an Arma Creighton, front, middle, and rear, and just show some of the skills needed to get access to it. As you get more and more confident fixing the truck, you can move into tuning and modifying it. That's where it gets fun. You can change all sorts of parts on the truck, and you can tweak them to fit just exactly your style. A great way to upgrade your truck is when you break one part, instead of replacing it with the stock part, replace it with an upgraded part. There's tons of aftermarket parts out there. Everything from cool tires to bigger motors, speed controls, better chassis, and everything in between. This can be super fun, and you can also dial in your truck. So just like any normal car that you would drive on your way to work, there are specific quirks that only you know about with that car. The same thing is true for RCs. Especially as you get into tuning them, you're going to know just exactly how your car drives compared to someone else's. So get the feel for it, and you'll want to tune it more and modify it just to your liking. There's a lot of variability and a lot of options in this RC hobby, so don't let the fear of inexperience hold you back. There's a range in quality on tools, and you want to go for the highest end you can afford. MIP, in my opinion, is the highest name brand for hex drivers and tools like that. You want to get the best you can afford and stick with that. The reason is, if you strip parts or you break them because your tool's not good enough, you're going to end up having twice the amount of work and the frustration. So trust me, go with the best tools you can afford and budget for them, because you're going to need quite a few. I'll put some Amazon affiliate links in the description for some tools that I recommend. One thing that's very frustrating in the hobby is if you break a part and you realize you have to wait a while for the replacement part to come in the mail. For that reason, I keep lots of spares when I can. Often parts come in pairs or more, and so if you break the left arm, for example, you'd have a leftover right arm, and so over time you begin to accumulate more and more spare parts. And if you can do that for each of your vehicles, that's a great way to have them on hand when you need them. If you don't, you're going to be sitting around twiddling your thumbs waiting for the thing to be shipped in the mail, and meanwhile your buddies are out bashing and you're missing out. This can also work really well when you're out in the field bashing and something relatively easy to fix breaks. You can just grab the spare part, put it on, and away you go. So there are both nitro-powered or gas-powered RCs as well as battery-powered ones. And most battery-powered fast ones these days use LiPo battery packs. It stands for lithium polymer. Those packs are powerful and efficient, and they're the ones I use. However, they are dangerous, especially if not cared for properly. They can be highly flammable. If this can happen while driving, it can also happen most likely while charging. So make sure you find yourself a good charger, one that has a balance plug in it. Don't cheap out on your chargers. Get a good one, and also store them properly when not charging them. One of these options should do just fine. This is a LiPo fireproof bag. This is an ammo case for a gun, and either one will do great with storing batteries. You want to look into the ammo case because you have to ventilate it. Check out my video on 10 tools and accessories for RCs, where I talk more in depth about these options. I'll put a link in the description for either one of them. There's tons of different LiPo options as well out there, whether that be brands, C ratings, milliamp ratings, voltage, cell size. There's lots to get into and there's lots to learn about, but do your research and you'll learn more. YouTube, again, is your friend on this one. You want to also look into how to properly charge these and at what rate, as well as how to store them. You don't want to see these things puff up, and when they do, that's a bad sign. It's time to get rid of them. You want to know how to keep these plugs intact and how to unplug and plug them, keep them secure in the car. Check out this video here where I explain more about how to not break the IC5 connectors. Similar to LiPo safety is just overall RC car safety. You may not think of this as a dangerous sport, but it can be. Thankfully, I've never been injured in the hobby, knock on wood, but I have had some near misses. These are fast, heavy vehicles, and they can really do some damage. So rather than go to the hospital, check your surroundings, be aware, and don't drive into anyone or anything if you can help it. Number 7, you will buy more than one. You may not think you're going to buy more than one, but you will buy more than one. It's addicting. Most of us start out with one and end up with a fleet. There's so many different options and types that you kind of want to get one of everything, or at least I do. As you build up your fleet of RCs, or maybe even just one or two, you're gonna need space, and that's point number 8. Even if you just have one RC, you're gonna need space for working on it, such as something like this. You're gonna need space to charge it and to store it. You wanna find a spot in your house. I use my basement, a section of the basement that I dedicate purely to RCs, and it works out well. If you've got a small house or a small space you're working with, be creative. Many people hang RCs on walls. They use vertical shelving. There's many ways to try to consolidate the space that they take up. So it doesn't have to be a giant fancy workshop that you've got dedicated to just RCs. If you have that, more power to you. If you don't, be creative and find ways to save space. Point number 9, join a community. RCing is such a niche hobby that it can be hard to find people that are also interested in it as well. It's sort of a risk I've found when you mention that you drive RC cars to the lay person, because they immediately think of it as a toy, or at least that's been my experience. It's a great thing to find friends who also do RCs. That can be hard if you live in an isolated area or you don't know any clubs or RC communities. You can resort to online options. There's tons of great Facebook RC specific groups, from general ones all the way to very specific cars and groups that are just talking about that car. So definitely get into that. Obviously subscribe to my channel if you want to know more. I run through wrenching, bashing, tutorials, you name it. But if you want to meet some friends in real life, you can also go to your local hobby shop. That's a great way. Or if you know of any bashing spots that more people would attend, or races, that can be a good way to make connections and to network and just find some sort of group that you can bash with or drive with. That's the best. And last but not least, clean your rig. This especially goes for if you're going to be doing any mud bashing. I try to stay away from mud bashing if I can help it, and it's just wreaks havoc on your truck. The water will rust parts, mud gets into the gears and the bearings. It takes a lot longer to clean your vehicle, but you never want to skip that step. Even for light bashing in the dust and the dirt, grass, clean it. There are many ways to clean it. These rigs are usually waterproof, but double check that yours is, and that's usually related to the receiver. The receiver box needs to be waterproof. As long as it is, it can usually take a good spraying of water from the hose or whatever. But after you do that, you want to be sure you oil it up, lube it, use the right kind of WD-40. Check out my waterless cleaning video here, where I talk all about how to do it without spraying it down if it's a light bash. If it's heavier, you're probably going to need some water in there as well. But the main thing is maintain it, clean it, dry it, and lube it, and your rig will last you for a long time. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys all enjoyed that. Let me know what you thought of the video in the comments. I really appreciate those comments. Let me know if there are other things you recommend for beginners to get into, or that you wish you learned when you were getting into it. Stay tuned for the next video where I talk all about the hidden costs of running RC cars. Thanks for watching, and see you at the next video. Thanks.